Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot, with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. Today we are going to ask, how do you inspire people? This was actually a channeled message while I was meditating, and I loved it. I was like, oh, I'm so excited to do this reading today. First, I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey with me. I'm so honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. For those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we are all here sharing this human experience, and that this is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Remember that these are general readings, so just take what resonates and leave what does not. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you will find all the links necessary to do so below in the description box. You can email me for a personal reading, and I will get you out further information. You can follow me on over to Spotify at my podcast, Scatter Love Radio. And if you are interested in joining as a member, there's a link down below that will lead you to the landing page where it shows you the options I have available, as well as what comes with each option. So I do hope to see you over on memberships. If not, thank you again for your continued support here. So that being said, I do just want to say quickly that you may have noticed that the channel's changing. If you didn't catch my last reading on how do you trigger people, or I'm talking more about how we're shifting the focus back to you. This journey is about us focusing on ourselves, and these next readings that I will be having up on the channel are going to be shifting our focus back onto ourselves, how we can continue on the path that we're on, how we can either make small adjustments or continue to grow certain skills, abilities, and gifts that we have, right? Because when we're focused on everyone else, we're taking away such precious time from ourselves and our own amazing journey that we can be embarking on, because we're so worried about where everyone else is. And that's why we think about those readings, you know, like, what are people secretly thinking about us? You might be like, well, I'm focusing more on what it is that they think of me, and that's a very self thing, right? It is actually coming from our emotional ego, and it's deterring us from following the path of light and love. And so something that they have asked me to do on my channel is to shift the focus, and you're going to be noticing that a lot in future readings. We are not going to go back to those readings. They are too draining for me. I don't actually like them, and that was never the reason that I got involved with tarot in the first place. And so we're just going to scratch that. I may do the attractive readings here and there because I know they are highly requested and they are so sought after, but then again, it's just not the direction that I'm looking forward to for me and my tribe on this journey. We're very high vibrational light beings, and we're looking to drive ourselves even closer to love. And that's the purpose of the readings that will be coming out on the channel coming up, okay? So let's go ahead and get to our prayer. And I've definitely gotten a great feedback from the ones that have come up so far. So definitely let me know. And if you have any inspired topics that are about self, definitely comment them down below, okay? So I take requests. I add them to my list. Sometimes it takes a while to get to them. Let me get this out. All right. My beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, onto this channel, whether it's for a moment's time or the entire time. I ask that you wrap them in this bubble of love, that you wrap them in this healing violet light, that you remind us that we have our journey ahead of us, and that it is filled with adventure and excitement, and yes, sometimes hardships, and our ability to resolve those conflicts and to overcome those challenges is what makes us overall stronger and more resilient, so that we can enjoy the adventurous times and not have to worry about always looking over our shoulders or wondering what's at our back, because we know that you have our back. We know that you are looking out for us. We know that you are walking beside us and ensuring that we are always protected. We are always held, and we are always assured that we have the power, the tools, the resources, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the intuition to take our path, our journey, our lives into our hands and begin to truly live this life that you've blessed us with. I ask that you remind us all of this innate power that lives within each of us, that resides within our hearts, and may we all be open to walking the path that is ever drawn, ever sown, ever etched upon our soul and in our own hearts. As these words are spoken unto this space and unto this reading, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Aseh. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. So let me go ahead and get this set up over here. Awesome. Okay, so you might have noticed a couple of different things. That's okay. I actually found this feather. I believe it's from a seagull. We're going to choose from my Dragon Oracle deck. Doesn't come out very often, but this felt fitting today. I've already pre-shuffled for us. So source for pile number 1, what Dragon Oracle card will help us better understand how pile 1 inspires people? Wow, thank you. Right off the bat. And for pile number 2, source, what Dragon Oracle card will better help us understand how pile number 2 inspires people? Okay, thank you. And for pile number 3, source, what Dragon Oracle card will help us better understand how pile number 3 inspires people? How does pile number 3 inspire people, source? How does pile number 3 inspire people? Okay, perfect. Thank you. On the bottom, collective message, freedom. Yes, I love that this came out as a collective message. You inspire people because of your free soul, your free heart, your freedom. All right, let me get these set up here. Awesome. Make sure they are in camera. For pile number 1, we do have this beautiful chunk of amethyst for you to choose from. Okay. Pile number 2, we do have this beautiful seagull feather for you to choose from. Okay. And pile number 3, we have this beautiful piece of pyrite for you to choose from. Okay, so pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, whichever one you're drawn to, that should be the pile for you. With that being said, I will see you over on your chosen pile. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful chunk of amethyst, or if you were drawn to this card during this shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on how do you inspire people. First thing, I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. For those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we are all here sharing this human experience and that this is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most loving, authentic self. Please keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates, leave what does not. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you will find all the links necessary below in the description box. You can email me for personal reading and I will get you out further information. You can follow me on over to Spotify on my podcast at Scatter Love Radio. And you can also become a member. And when you click on the link for memberships, it will take you to the landing page that shows you the options that are available as well as what comes with each option. So I truly do hope to see you over on memberships. If not, thank you for your continued support here. I truly am sending out love to you all. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and get to our reading. Also, if you are interested in understanding why there's a shift in the certain types of readings on the channel, if you did not catch how do you trigger people, because I did explain that on all the readings there, definitely check out the intro video, and that will tell you more as to what to look forward to on my channel upcoming, okay? So source for pile number 1. How does pile number 1 inspire people? How does pile number 1 inspire people? What would you like to share with us, source? How does pile number 1 inspire people? Okay, so we've got the 4th house, like Aquarius and Uranus energy. So definitely matches the collective message as well. And if you pick pile number 1, this often happens for pile number 1. I do feel like oftentimes that the collective message is mostly for pile number 1, which is strange, right? Because it is a collective message, but that's just sometimes how it goes. So it's like almost sources giving us a bird's eye view of what's coming next. This is truly a beautiful energy, because not only are you friendly, you're quirky, you're unorthodox, you're unusual, you're goofy, right? You're different, you're a trendsetter, you follow your own rules and regulations. Like, you see life through your eyes and your eyes alone. You're not impacted or inspired by others. I mean, even though you can be inspired by others to find what works for you, you always take that and make it your own. And you could absolutely have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. You could have Uranus in the 4th house. You could have Uranus in the 6th house, the 5th house, and the 10th house is what I'm hearing. You could also have your MCB in Aquarius or Cancer, okay? So those are the energies that are coming through right away right now. But what we see here is that you're very aloof when it comes to everybody else's problems, and sometimes extremely aloof when it comes to your own. Like, you're not so emotionally attached to it. You're just working to find a resolution if there is one. You're working to find a healing solution if there is one. And if there isn't, you're just unbothered by it. You're like, nope, that's not mine to carry. I'm not gonna carry it. There's no reason for me to carry it. And you're very inventive and very smart and intelligent and wise, and you have this way of connecting with people everywhere you go. Like, this isn't like Leo energy where you're the center of attention. This is more like, because it's Aquarius, everybody just is naturally drawn to you and feel like they've known you for forever. You've probably been told you're an old soul by so many people. You have this energy where it's like people just want to get to know you. They just want to know you. They're like, I want pile 1 as my friend. Like, that's it. I just want you as my friend. Can you be my friend? And you might have that a lot on social media as well, where people are like, can you just be my friend? Like, and you're like, why does everyone ask me to be their friend? Like, it's not like you don't care whether or not you are. It's just such a weird thing, right? Like, why? I don't even know you and you want to be friends. And so you're like, okay, that's cool. But you do connect with people. You're very home grounded. Like, you're somebody that reminds them of home. You're someone that is very unpretentious. You're very much in this place of just giving to others without expectation. But equally so, your involvement holds no, like, it's like when you're involved, you're not involved. You know what I mean? Like, it's like everybody's telling you their problems and you're just like, oh, okay, yeah. And you really only give attention or advice when people are asking you to be really present with them in situations. But other than that, you just listen, and it's almost like you're the walking, talking therapist for so many people. So it's you help them find humongous change in simple answers. And you've done this since you were a child. This is not new energy to you. You probably had adults come and pour their stories on you that you had no business knowing. And you were like, okay, like, I don't even know what that is. But then after they shared with you, they felt better. And you just went on playing your games and doing your thing and living your best life. And they transformed and probably didn't even realize it until you got older, when you were starting to do your work and you realized, wow, I've been told stories by people that I should have never even known their stories. But that's how you inspire people, is because you just have this inviting energy about you. That's what's so inspirational to people. It's like people wish they had what you had, but it's not something that really is teachable, because it's just based on your energy, right? It's just through having lived multiple lives, if you believe in reincarnation, or just exactly from the experiences that you've had in your life, you've gained so much knowledge and wisdom. And because of that, you have learned how to navigate problems that you yourself maybe haven't even experienced. But if it ever were to come up, you're in this energy of like, yeah, I know how to navigate that because so-and-so went through that and I helped them navigate that back then, or whatever. And so it's really just your energy. It's like, come tell me whatever. So you would do well as somebody who is a therapist or a psychologist. If you're ever wondering what kind of purpose you're into, like, that might be a place to start researching. You could be a therapist or a psychologist, work in the health industry. You could be someone that works in communication, teaches, right? Teaches valuable information to others. How does pile number 1 inspire people, Source? Thank you. How does pile number 1 inspire people? I think that, and that's the thing, like, the energy that's coming in is that you're just so connected with, but still disconnected. How does pile number 1 inspire people? Okay, they want it this way. And another one came out, but I just put it on the bottom of the deck. We have the 3 of Wands in the upright. Yeah, like, you're just very grounded in what it is that you want, and it's like an unfair advantage, right? They're inspired by it because it's like, oh, look, pile number 1, they have this ability to make choices without being connected to the situation. They take action no matter what's going on in the physical world, and it just feels like an unfair advantage, but it's an inspiration because you're this free spirit. You're just very free moving. You're capable of moving on. It's like, you know, vagabond energy. And remember, it's not like you're homeless or that you're dirty or anything like that. It's just like you just literally move on when the chance arrives. Like, I'm just on the go. I'm traveling, right? Like, I'm constantly traveling. I'm constantly doing things. And it's like, you don't have to be physically moving. This is just an energy that you embody. And that's what inspires people, because change does not bother you. What's peaking? Yeah, change is something that's very stable for you. In fact, when things don't change, that's probably when you begin to get very, like, antsy and like, oh my gosh, what's going on? We've been here for far too long. It's time for us to skedaddle, okay? So let's see what the cards have here. Oh, we have the Page of Wands in the reverse. We have the Page of Swords. Okay. We have the 7 of Wands in the reverse and the House of God in the reverse. So how do you inspire people? You watch and you wait. People want a sexual relationship with you, or approach you in a very immature place, or this is that energy that you experienced from adults when you were a child. Just, they're coming to you with information that you didn't need to know, like stuff that was way beyond your years, right? Like, you really had no business knowing what that stuff was, but yet here they are sharing it with you, like, oh, hey, pile 1, and you're over here like, okay, like, what do I do with this, you know? And pages are generally very unsure energy anyways, because it's this energy of not knowing which way to go. And so you're definitely that disconnected, disassociated energy. It's like people don't know which way you're going to take, right? They're viewing you as someone who doesn't know which way to take. And then you look at all the action that's going on around you, you let it all fall apart. And then there you go, you walk out the door completely unscathed by everything that's happened around you. And everyone else is like, hold on, wait, hold on, let's back up. If I were in that situation, my whole life would fall apart. But here you are, you just walk away completely unbothered by it. You see, you're watching this page here like, okay, Go ahead and act a fool. And a lot of times here, it's like this page can be considered as the most reckless page in the deck. And that's because he's like carelessly holding his sword, and he's not really paying attention to what's coming in front of him. And he's more worried about the actions that he took before. But it's interesting because the energy that's coming off of this page right now is this air of, yeah, maybe I am carelessly holding my sword. Maybe I'm not worried about what's going on in front of me because it's not mine to carry in the first place. You're just very rooted in your truth and very grounded in who you are. And that's what's so inspiring to others, right? Of course that's inspiring because so many people just wish they knew how to get out of any one situation without being as affected as, as unaffected as you are. You're just unbothered. Completely unbothered, like, whatever, that's cool, that's nice, Everyone else, they see chaos, they see confusion, they have, their vanity and pride is playing a huge part in the way that they're showing up, and you're just watching and waiting. Like, I can't get beyond that because that's just the energy. You're just watching and waiting what's happening. And then you move forward after you watched and waited, right? Like, it's like, you gain the advantage by staying neutral between the conflicting sides. That's why you're watching and waiting. You're not, the conflict is ensuing around you, with the House of God. And, excuse me, the House of God is like the tower in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. They're both the 16 card. But in the Tarot Marseille, it is called the House of God. And it's talking about how God puts you in a situation where your ego gets abolished, right? Like, that's really the depth of this card is talking about. Your ego is getting brought to the conscious awareness, and Source is knocking you off your high horse, basically. And so when it's in the reverse, it's like we get knocked off our high horse, but we didn't even consciously know about it because we were ignoring it or we were denying it. And so you've seen a lot of situations where people are just not paying attention. They're not seeing clearly what the situation is playing out in front of them. And then, like I said, you leave completely unscathed. You're like, yeah, okay, bye. Like, good luck in picking up those pieces. Like, you wouldn't have had as many if you had just opened your eyes to the topic or to the situation or to what was going on. I feel like a lot of it had to do with love relationships. Like, it's very interesting and intriguing to me because I feel like at a very young age, people were coming to you with relationship problems. And it's almost like you hadn't even been in a relationship up until that point, but people are asking you for like relationship advice. Oh, like you're 11 or 12 and you have adults coming to you like, I'm in this situation with my girlfriend or my boyfriend and they're doing this and this, and you give advice and guidance, and it was up to them whether or not they took it. Most times they didn't take it, but why are you coming to a 12-year-old for relationship advice? And it's like, that's kind of like the energy that I'm getting from you. You're always like, why are people coming to me for advice? And it's just not, it's your energy. It's like you have wisdom, and your wisdom seeps out of your aura. It's just something that's there. It's something that's constant. It's something you can't hide from. Right? And so there's this energy where it's like people are like, oh, I can't deal with this alone. And I feel like people just poured it out on you because you were the safest place for them to pour out their garbage and their junk. And I mean, it's not something to be proud of, right? Like, it's probably really rather annoying. Like, are you serious? Like, why am I safe? But what inspires people about you is that no matter the secrets that they tell you, you've never gone and just blabbed their secrets out. Even though you had the potential to destroy many lives, you never did. That's what inspires people. It's like everybody that is so inspired by you is someone who has shared something that's deeply unsettling with them, with you. And they know that you have the potential to air their dirty laundry. And yet you don't. And you move out of the situation completely unharmed in any way, mentally, emotionally, physically. You're unharmed by it because it's not your burden to carry. It's just like someone else was just trying to get it off of them. And I feel like as you've gotten older, you just understand this is a part of your journey. Like, you're a healer. You're an energetic healer in this way. And and you help people, and now you're in a position where there's a lot more people coming to you, whether that's for your work or for your hobby or whatever it is, and you're becoming a very trusted member of this community, which we see here with the Aquarius energy. You're becoming this very trusted person that, like, I can go to pile one and I know that I'm going to be honored as a human no matter what problems I have. And that's another reason why they are inspired by you. You know, and it's like you've had to watch people get into difficult situations with uncertain outcomes, and yet you're the one who's endured. It's like, I can give you advice, but if you don't listen to my advice, what's the purpose of it? And so you're the one who endured. Because it's like, maybe you had friends who tried to copy you, you had other people who tried to copy you, and they kind of treated it like, oh, what's that show? Peyton's Place, I think, is the one where they gossip all the time. Like, everybody knows everybody's business. It's like a small town. And so it's like, but when people came to you, nobody knew anything about them. And so that's why. And it's like, these other people that tried to copy you, they just used all that information as the next hottest topic, the next hottest gossip. Wow, the back of my head is really tingling right now, like right below my crown chakra. It's like all the way up my head. It's like very tingly. And it's like, you were always told by your guides or by, and it could even just be a value and a moral that you hold, like, secrets are not mine to pass on. Like, even if someone said it's okay for you to share this, like, you're going to be someone who doesn't share it. Like, there's just this confidentiality with you. And that's something that inspires people, and they know that they can come and they trust you. They trust you, and they wish that they could be in that same position with others, but they've already proven multiple times that they're not capable of carrying other people's secrets. And they've also had a lot of problems with carrying other people's secrets, right? And this has actually helped you to prepare for like future challenges, future problems, future situations. And it's like, you at times may have hesitated to use this ability, but now it's just something that comes very natural. Like, you don't have to fight it anymore, because you've been put in the situation over and over again and had unprecedented practice, right? It's not like you went out of your way, like, hey, let me get all your secrets so I can practice my skills and my gifts and my abilities. Like, no, it's like, basically they're like, oh, hey, pile one, here you go. Look, we have house 3, flipping over, early learning, childhood relations, the rational mind, and communication. Yeah, this is something that has happened to you since you were a child, right? You could actually have Cancer in the 3rd house. You could have a lot of 3rd house placements as well. But Cancer in the 3rd house is coming through really strongly right now. And it's like something that's happened to you your whole life. And you're the one who was always rational about it. And you could communicate rationality to others, but they weren't able to, you know, receive that all the time. Like, we have house 7 with profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. I can't make this up. Like, they came to you with relationship advice. Maybe you're a relationship or marriage counselor or something like that, or it's something that you've done in your past. And it's like very interesting, because it's like, you're like, well, it's always happened to me. It's always been a part of my life. I might as well make a career out of it. Like, but it was what you were meant to do, right? And if you're not, that's okay. Like, don't be like, oh, I have to change my career. No, they're just saying, like, it's just something that you excel in, right? It's something that's very easy to you, and you do it. We have bring your ideas to life with the electric eel spirit, and that's number 24, which is 6, and 6 is all about balance, harmony, solution, resolution, seeing yourself through eyes of love, right? So finding that balance, you've learned how to love yourself deeply because of everybody else's BS. Again, I'm not laughing at that. It's interesting. It's like, you learned lessons from other people. Lessons that you yourself maybe have never experienced, but you've learned valuable information and knowledge from other people's lessons. It's not to say that you hadn't learned that in a past life, because you probably, that's where the wisdom comes from, is a past life. And if you don't believe in that, then it's just something that you've learned from the genetic DNA that was passed on to you from your parents, from your grandparents, and so on and so forth. Okay? Yeah, a lot of people are afraid. Like, you have a lot of information that could really bust up their lives, but you keep it hidden. You keep that part of their lives hidden because it's their lives. Like, why are you going to go and spread all these rumors about everyone else? And that's another thing that really inspires them, because you're not a gossip. Like, you're not looking to gossip. And so many people are so much in this gossip energy, and it's like, and yet here you are just living your best life, doing your thing. And so they find hope and faith in humanity again through you, because you're someone who's willing to keep the secrets. Hold on, let me turn down my frequencies. They got bells on them. The chimes are loud. Whoa! And that's the thing. I feel like if they've told other people, that's the thing. It's like those things sit so much on people. Like, they have, what is that? Loose lips sink ships. That's what I keep hearing. Loose lips sink ships. And it's like they've tried to be like you, but they all have loose lips. Like, they can't help. And it's almost like they pass on the information subconsciously, right? It's a very subconscious thing where suddenly it's like, oh, guess what I heard about Amy, or guess what I heard about, Derek, and people are like, oh, what'd you hear, tell me. And before they know it, they're off sharing secrets that they should not have been sharing in the first place. Yeah, and you help people change and transform and have these rebirths and feel renewed from cycles that they couldn't let go from themselves. But see, that's what I'm saying, like, it's a hidden wisdom, this owl here in the corner. It's a hidden wisdom, but you wear your transformation on your sleeves. Like, you're just this wise person that they can come to and know that they're going to get help on the journey. Okay, I feel like I want one more. Okay, well, they keep putting me to the yin and yang deck. So let's get 2 cards from the yin and yang deck to kind of further explain this, Source. Since you won't let me, yeah, the courage to change. Exactly. Wasn't I just saying that? You help them have the courage to change. You help them find resolution. That's how you inspire people. You help them find change. It's like you're holding deep, dark secrets. And then we have storm, unexpected. Yeah, you're very unexpected energy. You come in like a wrecking ball. You are someone that is unexpected in the way that people feel like, again, you could tear up their whole lives and you don't, and that's what leaves them shocked. Like, it's just shocked. But I feel like also the fact that you hold that and you don't say anything about it is what gives them the courage to change, because then they know they can trust you. Yeah, there's empowerment in that. Like, you just are very much centered in yourself. You're this bright light. You have a sense of strength about you, and you're very empowered yourself. And you're not worried about what other people are thinking. That's not what you're focused on. And so that helps them find a sense of strength, structure, and stability in their own lives. My nose is going crazy. Like, Source is tickling it with a feather, saying, you know. Woo, okay. Pisces. You could be a Pisces sun, moon, rising, Venus. You could have a Mercury in Pisces too. We have intimacy, intuition, and compassion. You might also have a lot of 12th house placements. Yeah, so you're just very deep. And your ocean is endless. So it's like when someone gives you something, you just let it sink to the bottom of your ocean. It's not yours to hold on to, but it's okay to tie a rock to it and let it sink down there. Spirit has a plan with Koala Spirit. And we have 35, which is 8, which is karmic, right? And bringing abundance in through that karma. So you help people let go, and it's like Spirit is the channel that's through you, right? Like, you're just the vessel, but it's like Spirit is what's channeling through you this wisdom, this knowledge, this energy, this ability to keep things in a very moral high ground is what I keep hearing. Yeah, and they think that it's so beautiful. Like you're not even aware of how beautiful you are. You're not even aware of how attractive you are, how incredible you are, how much this means to them. It's like, no matter how you look on the outside, this has nothing to do with your physical being. This has everything to do with your energy. You are the embodiment of the sun. And you help others find the truth by just being this beautiful embodiment of the sun. That it's just like you're unaware, you're just unaware of, and it's actually a really beautiful and cool thing. And then we have purification. This totally makes sense. You help them purify their souls, their spirits, right? Yeah, you help them purify the hardships, and it's like something you've done since a child, and you know, it's not something that you can control even if you wanted to. It's just so natural to you. So let's take a look at your Dragon Oracle and see what more this tells us. We have spirits. What was I saying? Spirit has a plan. So we've got spirit energy here. Yeah, you definitely have old soul energy. Very much could be a star seed. You've experienced a lot from other lives, and it's something that's very, very palpable. Okay. All right, so let's see. This is number 9. It says, Spirit appears to us when we are gearing up for another steep learning curve on our spiritual path. He connects most strongly to those who have begun work on themselves and are well and truly underway with their spiritual journey. He arrives to help prepare you for work with the planet and mankind. If he swooped into your cards today, he says, call upon my energy to support you as you prepare for the next step of your amazing journey. Your emotional and physical body will go through many shifts and changes as you embrace the next deep learning process. As your inner perspective shifts, so will your outer experiences. This is where I can support you most through those shifts and changes. You are all spiritual beings in physical form, and every one of you has the potential to live a soul-filled spiritual existence on Earth. You are truly awesome, a truly awesome and spiritual being. Embrace what is to come on the next leg of your journey. If you know that you need to do something but are at a loss as what to do with that something, call upon him during meditation and ask him to impart his wisdom to you. You'll be guided. So that's just it. You're a guide. You're a walking guide. It's like you may have lived as a spirit guide at one point or been a spirit guide. Do we ever truly live and die? Energy is constant. So it's like at one point you may have been a spirit guide, and now you're a walking spirit guide on the earth realm. That's where you get a lot of your wisdom. Spirit just channels through you because you're very open to that energy. It's like you're not disconnected from spirit ever because you know about that connection and you're willing to embrace it. And it's something that's been with you since you were a kid, even if you didn't really understand it then. It's just something you've always been free-flowing with, and it's never changed, which doesn't surprise me if you have a Pisces sun or a Pisces rising either. Okay, and Pisces, any Pisces placements would help with that, right? But it's just something that's very deeply ingrained in your being. And that's why you inspire so many people. Like how you inspire them is just because you're this walking embodiment of love, purification, and hope. That not all is lost in the world, right? I love this message. If you feel like this is your message, leave a little swan emoji down below. Say, I am the embodiment of Source or God, or gods and goddesses, or whatever it is you want to call it, the universe. It doesn't matter what name you put, but say I'm the walking embodiment of Source, and Source chooses me as its channel, or their channel, his channel, her channel. Okay? So leave me a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this incredible message. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this feather, if I can get it to focus, possibly. Okay. Or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on how do you inspire people. First thing, I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm so honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. For those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we are all here sharing this human experience, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all the links below, where you can email me for a personal reading. I'll get you out further information from there. You can follow me on over to my podcast on Spotify at Scatter Love Radio. And if you're interested in joining as a member, there's a link below which will take you to the landing page and show you the options available as well as what comes with each option. So I do hope to see you on memberships. If not, thank you for your continued support here. Remember that these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what does not, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe below. So with that being said, let's hop to it and find out, how does pile number 2 inspire people, Source? What messages can you give to us? How does pile number 2 inspire people? What would you like to say here? How does pile number 2 inspire people? Okay, and before we get into it, I do have a message that I kept getting water signs at the beginning of this. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You don't have to be a water sign, but there's something about water sign placements in your chart that's very important, and that you are very compassionate, kind, intuitive, and emotionally connected is what the message was before I started this reading, okay? So we've got 5th house, we've got Virgo and Saturn. You are someone who people are magnetized towards. You are very charismatic and tend to be the center of attention. And it's not like you really try. Like, I feel like you're not like actively seeking the center of attention. You're actually a very kind, humble, and modest person. But naturally, like, people want to hear your story. People want to hear about your life. People want to know what it is that you've been through. Like, people are very intrigued by you overall, and they're excited to get to know you. What they're more excited about is understanding your struggles and your trials, and equally so your triumphs. Like, you inspire others because of everything that you've been through and survived, and you didn't give up, and you're still this beautiful energy. You're still smiling and loving and laughing and just being yourself and very authentic to who you are. And there's still, no matter how much corruption has gone on around you, like, you're still very innocent. You haven't been corrupted. Your soul hasn't been corrupted. Like, your energy hasn't been corrupted by the density in the world, the darkness in the world, the sacrifices that you've had to make. You know, when every time we look at Saturn, whenever Saturn appears, we're talking about the planet of tough love. And so when you begin to share your experiences with others, it's always about, it's like people don't expect you having gone through the trials and the tribulations that you've gone through. And so there are many people who may have made an initial judgment based on you as a person and your energy, but then when they get to know you, they're like, whoa, hold on, I can learn a lot from pile 2. I can learn how to find a better routine in my life. I can learn how to embody discipline. I can even learn how to become more charismatic and not let the weight of the world put me under. I can choose my reality, and pile number 2 is a living, walking, breathing embodiment of them choosing their reality and choosing that doesn't matter how many times life has pushed them down. What has mattered is that they've gotten up every time. You stood up, you brushed yourself off, you dusted out your eyes, dusted off your hair, said, well, that was a shocker, and you kept moving on, but it didn't break you. It made you stronger. Like, everything in your life has made you stronger. And so it wouldn't surprise me if you shared your story in some way, shape, or form, in some sort of fashion, whether that is online, via, blog, via communication of some sort. You could be a public speaker. You could be a self-help coach, a health coach, a life coach. You might have written a book about it. It's just that you help others by sharing your story. And maybe you've done none of those, and it's just that when you meet people, for whatever reason, you're inspired to share tidbits of your life, and that little tidbit is what helps them see. It's like, wow, I really was thinking my life was awful and terrible, but what did I really go through that was so hard compared to pile 2, And we never want to compare our lives. Like, that's not anything that we're ever looking for, because comparison just makes us feel unworthy and like we're not enough, right? But it's hard to stay upset about life when they've met someone who has gone through trial after trial after trial after trial, which tells me that you're on a very deep spiritual journey, because it's what happens when you're spiritually on the spiritual journey and you're spiritually growing. you end up going through life's trials, and it's not something that you have control over, right? It's just something that comes up. Because it's like when we're asking to become the best version of ourselves, it means that we have to face the worst parts of ourselves. And facing the worst parts of ourselves is often the hardest thing for us to do, because it's the stuff that we've always just dusted under the rug. And it's like you asking to become the best version of yourself has made you face many of your fears, many of your discrepancies, many of the things that you didn't know that you could face. It's like you asked for those trials unknowingly, and it's not like you went out and said, oh, Source, please just shower me with these troubles. No, it's like you went out and said, Source, I want to be the best version of myself. How do I do that? And in turn, the only way to grow sometimes is to go through hardships, because we have to face those parts of ourselves, and you're an embodiment of that, but you're still so good-spirited and playful and joyful and hold this just enormously wonderful energy to be around. And that's how you inspire people, because it's like even after you've healed so much, you still have things that happen, and it's like seeing how you approach those things today versus how even you approached them last week, let alone last month and last year or 5 years ago, or shoot, even a decade and more before. BO. I was going to say BO. I don't know what BO is, but not BO, but I was saying BYO. So let's go before. You know, you've definitely grown so much, and that's what inspires people, because you're never like, you know, why do I hear that song by Fort Minor? I'll be taking the high road. I think it's called The High Road. I don't remember the lyrics right now because they're not letting me remember the lyrics or even the tune, but that's what they said. Fort Minor, The High Road. I'll be taking the high road. It's like that's what it is. So that makes sense as to why the water energy came through in the beginning. It's just like you've had to deal with your emotions. You've had to deal with a lot of your emotions. And that's what inspires people, because it's like you show up from a place of being very emotionally mature, mentally mature, and, you know, just capable of facing whatever it is that's come to pass. And so many people struggle just with day-to-day routines, and you've somehow mastered your routines in a way that allow you to deal with those hardships. So, Source, how does pile number 1 inspire people? What would you like to say here? How does pile number 1 inspire people? Thank you. How does pile number 1 inspire people, Source? How does pile number 1 inspire people? Thank you. Okay, how does pile number 1 inspire people, Source? How does pile number 1 inspire people? Thank you. All right, how does pile number 1 inspire people, Source? Oh, thank you. Yeah, Judgment. That's not surprising. A lot of hardships. A lot of difficulties from your family, right? And you're the one who has faced it, and you're the one that's asked for atonement. And so your life is ever changing here with the 5 of coins on the bottom. And you're very grounded in yourself. Look, a lot of very material energy here. It's like you've grounded the unknown into the physical realms. Like when you said, I want to be the best version of myself, that meant in all aspects in this physical reality. I want to be able to handle problems. I want to be able to resolve situations. I want to be able to be a troubleshooter, a brainstormer, creative. I want to be able to manifest money and security and wealth and health and, you know, abundance of all forms. And that's exactly what you've done. Even if you're like, but I'm not any of those things. It's not about being those things, seeing them with your own eyes. This is the energy that you are holding within you right now, is that you are walking with this energy. You're a very abundant person. You're very capable. You're very clear about what you want. And change is something that happens for you naturally. But change is also something that you keep very close to you. It's not something that you tell everybody about. You just tell people about the situations you went through and how it's impacted you. Not how it changed you, how it impacted you. And those are two different things, right? Not that, wow, you know, I dealt with someone who cheated on me and I was a bear. Like you kind of keep your emotional reactions to yourself, but you talk about how, you know what I learned from somebody cheating on me? I learned what I didn't want, and I learned how to recognize the red flags. And that's what inspires people. It's like Because we don't really have to dwell on the everyday actions that we went through, but if we can tell people how I went through a really rough situation and this is what it taught me, it shows them that they can do the same. And that's exactly what you're doing every day, is you're teaching others how to do the same in the world, right? This is a very worldly energy here. To change, to not get caught up in the twists and turns that life has, to remember that you have an option, right? You can do this. You can ground yourself in this. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. The 5 of Wands in the reverse. And the Sun. Like, it's interesting because there's been parts of your journey where you yourself did not want to change. Like, you were very resistant to it. Like, very, very much in this place of like, nope, I'm not going to change. Like, that's really difficult for me to move beyond. But something inspired you to become a higher version of yourself. Right? And so what you have inspired those closest to you, these are people who know you. It feels like they're very close to home, very close to you as a person. You've inspired them because at one point they saw how stagnant you were in your life, how bad situation after bad situation happened. And just because you began to heal didn't mean that those disasters went away. It just meant that you learned how to approach those obstacles and disasters from a different place. And so people have watched you go from being completely stuck and refusing to change, refusing to look at life in a different way, to seeing life as this journey to atonement for yourself and for your soul and your spirit. And we're not talking about like repentance. This is literally like saying, I'm letting go of the past so that I can be who I'm meant to be. Right? When we talk about judgment and atonement, it's really truthfully this ability to let go of the past and to stand present as your whole self, as your authentic self, without holding anything from the past and saying, this is what defines me. Right? And you may have used to identify with the past, and that was what defined you, and felt isolated from so many people, especially with the Sun here in the reverse. That may have been something that kept you isolated from the outside world, was because of all these situations, these bad situations that happened here. But interestingly enough, having known what that isolation feels like, you actually are able to connect with people in a much more authentic way, because a lot of people feel that, and you're noticing that. You're seeing that so many people feel disconnected from the world. They feel like they're the only person that experiences the way that they experience things, or they're the only person that has this feeling, and that no one understands what they're going through. It's like, again, you share these situations with them, and the example they keep giving me is like, if you'd been cheated on, it's like, you know, yeah, I got cheated on. It was probably one of the worst things I went through in my life, or just a really bad situation that I went through in my life. And what it taught me was, that's the most important thing here, is that what inspires people is that you have this way of saying what it taught you was. And you don't have to say it that way. You could say it exactly that way, but it's like you have this way of explaining how now you're coming out of that past energy, and you're allowing yourself to change by understanding that solitude is separate from isolation, right? The Sun in reverse is really about isolation, being stuck in a situation, being stuck with no light to guide the way. Okay? And so you're free to take solitude. You're free to take that time in hermitude, if you will, right? We have Virgo energy here with the King of Coins. We have Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo coming out here, so earth signs being present. But it's like, the thing is that you have learned how to physically face your emotions, which is why we were getting the water signs at the beginning, even though we don't have water present at all here, except for we do have Pisces energy with the Wheel of Fortune, Pisces and Sag. But what we see here is that you have learned how to physically face yourself and your emotions and what you're going through, and understanding that your frame of mind, and because you were choosing not to change, is what left you stuck in these situations. And for some of you, many people have actually watched you change that. They've watched you go from this very stuck, stagnant energy into this healing energy, letting go of the past. This resolution, this trusting the process, knowing that there's always a choice if you choose to make it. And really opening up to the differences that you can embody on your journey, right? It's been difficult because it's like, for a long time you felt powerless. And I feel like that's the kind of people that you attract into your life, are people who feel powerless. People feel like they don't have a chance at anything. People who have their own limits, right? Or they depend on others. And you've helped them overcome that. And you help them with this new understanding. You help enlighten others on the path. Bring a sense of enlightenment. And that's such a phenomenal thing, right? Because it's like you're a walking, talking, breathing enlightenment being. Let me enlighten you. Let me help you. You haven't had that help before. You know, maybe you're stuck in your ways. Maybe you have had a lot of bad fortune happen to you, but, you know, bad fortune has taught me one thing, and it's taught me how to release the past, that I have a choice to make, and I'm going to do that, right? It's like you're healing on many, 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 many different levels. And this is what has gotten you so much attention in your friend group, in your family group, or just in life in general, is because of you having let go of those complex situations, or letting go of those situations where you weren't able to move forward. People are like, how did you do that? And even if they're not asking you how you did that, like, they're just curious by nature, so they're coming in and trying to find out what they can about you on your journey. And that's how you inspire so many people. It's just because they've seen you change, even just a little bit. Like, every time you're asking to be a better version of yourself, obviously you're going to gain enlightenment, right? You're going to gain a new sense of light, a new sense of self, a new sense of understanding, a new sense of understanding. And that's what helps bring you into this place of balance. And so everybody that you connect with on any amount of time, they're going to notice the change, the shift. And through that, they see that you've always stayed in this positive place. You have a huge smile on your face all the time. You're always kind and loving and generous to people. You're compassionate towards others. You're very modest and humble. It's like you don't let the terrorizing situations you've been through in the past, you've never once let them define you, even though we see different here, right? We do see at one point they were confining you. But now you're in this energy of not letting them define you. It's just some kind of weird experience you had to go through in order to understand your life, your family, yourself better. Let's get some oracles out here, Source. May you please have some oracle cards for this reading? Okay, thank you. Please have another card, Source, for this reading. What else would you like to say? Thank you. And on the bottom of the deck, yeah, like we have square, a challenging situation, a mountain to climb. It's always been a challenge. It's always been difficult. Like, there's been nothing like, oh, this is simple, like, let me just go through this. No, it's always been a challenge. Like, everything that you've done has been a challenge, but you've found a way through it. And that's how you inspire others, because you're always finding a way out. Like, you're not confined by your difficulties, nor are you defined by the circumstances in your life. Watch and wait. It's interesting. This actually came out for pile number 1. So some of you could be here from pile number 1. Not this card, this message, watch and wait, came out. But this is it. It's like you're in this energy of waiting for your hard work to pay off. And you know that all you can do now is just watch as things unfold and wait for it to come to you because you've done the work. You've cleared out the karmic cycles. You've let go of the bad habits. You've let go of the being stuck and confined by your reality, realizing that you have an opportunity to create here. That came out so fast. And you put in the work with Beaver Spirit here. Yeah, you put in the work. See? You built the house. You built the sanctuary. You let it go. You put in the time, the effort, the energy. And it's a reward, right? Like, it's a reward being able to say, I did this and I put in the work, and now I'm getting to see the benefits, the atonement, the healing from it. You stayed true to your path even when things got difficult. Even when people got difficult, or even when things outside of you were unbearable, you still stayed true to your healing path. Like, the spiritual journey is what opened you up to finding your deepest truth. And you're still in the process of unlocking that. Oh, they don't want this one? Okay, they want 2 of these cards. Okay, thank you. And 1 more for pile number 2. Thank you. Put those there. On the bottom we have change. There's a change for the better coming your way. Embrace it. Just because you don't see any movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. Sometimes to see change, you must be the change. You changed. That's been a very clear message here. You changed. You're the one who decided, I'm done being stuck. Like, I'm done being stuck. I'm letting go of this old energy. It doesn't mean that situations like this don't happen, but rather than it being difficult to deal with, like, you're facing it head on. Chiron, yeah, this has come out quite a bit in the last 2 weeks. Honestly, this card rarely ever makes an appearance, and we have this coming out more and more. So we're seeing that you are healing from those deepest hurts of the past. And actually, I don't read this a whole lot, but just because we are where we're at, let me read this a little bit from the book. And if you're wondering what this deck is, it's called The Heavenly Bodies Astrology, and it's by Lily Ashwell. This is such a great book. It comes with a hardcover book. Such a great deck to get. So let me turn to Chiron here. I think it is in the back of the book. One second. Oh, here we go. Okay. It says, Chiron holds your deepest spiritual injury. It illuminates where you feel innately challenged, spiritually injured, and hopeless. This is your energetic Achilles heel, and when it's triggered, your survival instinct tells you to run. However, your wounding isn't a haphazard accident caused by an external happening. It's of you, braided into your bones, and to deny it is to deny yourself. An abandoned Chiron creates a cycle of repetition around your area of wounding. You break the cycle not through resistance, but through acceptance. And through this journey to wholeness, you gain your deepest wisdom. While this wound never leaves you, you gain freedom from its grip through self-compassion and empathy for others. It's Chiron's realm. In Chiron's realm, you become a teacher of wisdom. You become the wounded healer. And it's interesting because at the very beginning, if you didn't catch the shuffle, the card that came out on the bottom of the deck for the collective message was freedom. And this is rung true for both pile 1 and pile 2 as a collective message. That's amazing. I love that. So yeah, Chiron is the wounded healer. You're becoming a teacher, right? You're teaching others how to heal, and that's why they're inspired by you. So let's see here. We've got the 8th house, transformation, karma, facing fears and legacies. You're transforming the karma, and that's your legacies, leaving behind a path to healing is what it feels like. A path to healing, a path to knowing that you don't have to be broken by the hardships you've been through. This is your purpose. Thank you so much, Source. Thank you for that clarification. This is your path of purpose. We have Shark with purpose here. And then we have number 10. It's interesting. This is 36, which is 9. And then we have 10. The abundant universe will provide. So it's like Source has provided you with a pathway to understanding yourself deeply. And that's what inspires others, is because you've embodied that. Yeah, it's summer solstice. You're radiant. You're shining so bright. Right? You took the sun from being in the reverse, and now you're the embodiment of it. Here comes the sun. Da-na-na-na. Perfection, wisdom, perfection. Giving up your perfectionism, it causes delays in your finances. You will never get ahead if you don't overcome your fear of failure. You are enough and have what it takes to improve your finances. So we are talking in these cards about finances, but I feel like this is just a perfect symbolism for life. Like, you gave up that idea of being a perfectionist, which is Virgo energy. I'm not a perfectionist anymore. I'm not trying to be a perfectionist. That's something that could have really caused a lot of anxiety for you. It could have also halted a lot of your progress. And we have the office. Delegating more than you can handle increases your earnings. Secretary, staff, assistants, office manager, any job working in the office. Think of the greater good than oneself to achieve a better outcome. And I feel like that's really the message here, is that's exactly what you're doing. You're learning how to teach people how to work for the greater good here. You're teaching people that we have to let go of feeling like victims and really begin to embody and embrace the truth of our journey. And that's what inspires. That's how you inspire others. So let's take a look at your Dragon Oracle card. I'm going to read this from the deck. No, it's Illuminaire. What? Oh, that's so, so, so powerful. I love that. I love that. I love it. Okay, so let me turn to that. We have number 16. Illuminaire, which is Latin to light up. You're going to focus. To light up. Okay, it says, if you've picked Illuminaire today, hear his message. I illuminate what can't be seen, which is either hidden from you or within you. Your truth needs to be seen and shared. If you cannot hide behind your mask forever, your shield of false protection doesn't serve you. Only truth has integrity and can stand the test of time. Stand in your truth and power. Illuminaire appears when we are not listening and have been resisting that which needs uncovering. This is usually a spiritual or deep healing and personal nature. Rest assured, you are now ready to deal with whatever has been lurking in the depths of you. Whether this is a spiritual awakening or deep healing, it is ready to be released. The rest of his message is this: spiritual warriors of Earth, collectively we can change the world. Mankind is not yet ready for us in all our might. You and others like you are preparing the way, anchoring the light onto the planet. Are you ready to continue your amazing journey of empowerment? He brings in the power to see the truth in all situations, a removal of falsehood, if you like. It's a bit like having the laser vision of Superman. Yeah, you've gone through the healing, you did the work, you changed what it was that you were doing, you're learning how to embrace the change on your path, and through that, you're helping others see the truth on their journey, and that's really what inspires them. It's like, no matter what, even though things are difficult, it's like you still get up, you still dust yourself off, you still are strong, you still are walking the journey, right? You're becoming the wounded healer through Chiron, the wounded warrior as well, right? So it's just like this energy of being able to stand strong in your radiance, which I absolutely love. If you feel like this is your message, leave either a candle or a sun emoji down below and say, I stand in my radiance and illuminate the journey. Leave me a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, though, and get on out of here. I want to take a quick second to thank your guide, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this incredible message. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of pyrite, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be a reading on how do you inspire people. First thing, I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. For those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And these are general readings, so please take what resonates, leave what does not. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, you will find all the links below in the description box necessary to do so. You may email me for a personal reading, and I'll get you out further information from there. You can follow me on over to my podcast on Spotify at Scatter Love Radio. And if you're interested in becoming a member, the link in the description box will take you to the landing page, which will show you the options I have available as well as what comes with each option. So I truly do hope to see you over on memberships. If not, thank you for your continued support here. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and get into your reading today and find out, how does pile number 3 inspire people? Source, what messages do you have for us? How does pile number 3 inspire people? What would you like to say? How does pile number 3 inspire people? Okay, so we've got Pisces, 3rd house, and South Node energy. You communicate the things you let go of. You may have had some sort of addiction or some sort of past that you were guilty about or ashamed about. Like there's a lot of emotions coming in here. Really, really deep emotions, but you communicate about your past. Whether that's something that you knowingly did. So the example that they're giving me here is like, you could have had some really dark narcissistic tendencies that you were leaning on, and then through healing and understanding yourself, you let those go. That's not going to resonate with everyone. Or for some of you, you had something that happened to you in your past that left a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, and created a way of being within your life that you were just, until you understood yourself, you didn't know why you showed up when this happened, or when that happened, or when things didn't go your way, or when things just kind of seemingly fell apart. It's like you're sharing with the 3rd house here, you're communicating something that you experienced. Okay? And that's been very true for all 3 piles. Okay? That's something that's resonated with all 3 piles. And again, if you watched all 3 piles, leave a purple heart down below and say I made it. That's designated for those of you that choose to watch all 3 piles. But what I have here is this energy that is like, you felt a deep shame. Okay, that could have been an addiction. Maybe you used to be an alcoholic, and maybe you used to be a sexaholic or something along those lines. Okay, it doesn't have to be, but it could have even been like, you, when they're saying the narcissistic tendencies, maybe you were addicted to attracting narcissists into your life until you understood yourself. You didn't know how to let go of that pattern, right? Because not always is addiction connected to a substance. And that's something that we have to get away from all the time, that it could literally be a way of being treated. It could be a way of acting. It could be an old pattern that we are always attracting to ourselves, or that we're always acting out. So whatever it is, there's just showing here, there's something that was in your life as a pattern. It was an old pattern, and it's something that you felt very, very ashamed of, very, very guilty about for a long time, until you recognized that you were not the only person who was going through this. And that's how you inspire others, is by sharing this. So like the example here is, if you were an alcoholic and you share your journey of overcoming that and truly becoming sober, and your path to sobriety and what that entailed, and even if you fell off the wagon, like how you may have got back on, and how you have survived just the hardships that come with really choosing to be sober on your path. And if that's not what's resonating with you, then it's your journey. There's something about your journey that very much mirrors that process, that it was something that was really hard for you. You really tried to overcome it. You may have gone back into it. You were learning more things about it. You overcame it. And now you're in this path to really releasing yourself from everything that you have lived up until this moment in this time. But you communicate that here with the third house, talking about being able to communicate that to others in a very unique way, and in a way that helps others understand that there's no reason to hold this guilt and this pain and this shame any longer. Like, that only holds you back from exploring the depths of your true potential. And you have really allowed others to really embody that. You know, it's like, this could have been something that was really, really, really crazy. Like, you know, when I say crazy, not that you were crazy, it was just like a crazy situation that you got involved into that was like, you weren't really trying to, but it's something that was definitely weighing on you. And it's weird because one of the examples that they're showing here, and please, it's like, these are very triggering examples. So I'm just going to say that now. I should have said that earlier, but too little, too late. I'm saying it now. Okay, I'm saying it now. But they could, like, maybe you had an incest situation, and it was something that while it was going on, you just kept going back, kept going back, kept going back. And then you realize, like, okay, this is not how I want to live my life. Like, I'm always hiding, and I'm always feeling guilty, and I'm always just shrouded in this shame. But it's like something that I still can't get away from. Maybe it was sleeping with a married individual, right? And it's like, that's what it, these are the types of examples they're giving me. And again, these are very extremes, but understanding that, like, in the throes of that, like, you've learned that you're not the only person that's done this. You're not alone. And it's like, when you share your story and you're like, this is what happened to me, and this is how I have overcome it. But more importantly, this is how I let it go. Like, this has to do with how you've let it go. Not about what you learned, not about, you're actually showing people how to let go, which is South Node energy, right? This is something that's been clinging on to you. And it's like, maybe if you had a situation that was like that, like incest, or like you had a situation that was like sleeping with a married individual, like maybe you opened up to some of your family members even about it, and they were like, oh my gosh, I did the same thing. And you were like, whoa, hold on. I'm not the only one. Like, and it was almost like you being brave, because that takes so much courage. And please just know, there's no room for judgment here. Okay? Like, I'm not judging you. I understand life takes us in very many different ways, and there's no reason to judge one another, and there's no reason to put that out there, because everybody has difficult decisions and difficult situations that they make, that they go through, and the decisions they make at that time, whether it's moral or immoral to you, you have no idea what that person was going through, okay? I'm putting this out there because I just want you to know that I'm not judging. You did what you did, and that's part of what makes you you, and that's it. As hard as the journey may be, it's amazing that you are the being that you are, okay? And that's what we're really drawing away from this judgment. And I feel like you're also, for me to mention that here, it's like you're also struggling, but still pulling away from that judgment. And how you inspire others is the fact that you are the person who is brave enough to speak out on it. There's a lot of sexual energy coming here, which makes me it feels like this is something that's very sexually based. Equally so, again, triggering here, and I will mark that on the time block. But maybe you had an experience where maybe you were molested, and for so long you didn't talk about it, and then finally you were just like, I am so tired of keeping this in, like, I have to tell somebody. And you went to somebody who you trusted, and you found out that they too were molested, and it was something that you were able to just, like, have somebody to talk to who understood it. And then you got involved with a group of people, and then something like that. But that's how you inspire others, is because you were the one that was brave enough to talk about something that no one talked about. And again, it does not have to be this dark, okay? It does not have to be this harsh. It's just something that you were ashamed of. There was a lot of guilt that was involved with this, and a lot of heavy energy that wasn't even yours to carry in the first place. And when you opened up about it, it allowed other people around you to open up. Something that happened in childhood, though, with the third house, we have that's early childhood learning, development, communication, rationalization, our way of becoming free to speak in the world. And so this has been about you inspiring yourself to own your truth, which has actually inspired others to own their truth and to talk about these very difficult situations that have transpired in lives. And I feel like through that, where you're inspiring people, I feel like they also inspire you when they share their stories with you, because it's like you're realizing I'm not alone. Like, I've never been alone. I felt like I was the only person. I felt like, and that's another message from another pile that's coming through as well. But this is like knowing that you're not alone. It's not even just, it's almost like you had courage to speak out on it, and that gave other people courage, and that's how you inspire other people. Okay, there's something about having courage to talk about something that was not talked about, that we don't discuss that situation. We don't even bring that up. We don't talk about our emotions. We don't, it's just that energy of, let's just sweep that under the rug. Let's leave that there. Let's not even bring it up. Don't even look under the rug. Don't even peek under there. And you were like, shoot. Something about you said, let's just throw this rug outside and do a deep cleaning and get this dirt, this dust, this grime, this muck out of here. And you doing that, like ripping the can off the lid, or the lid off the can, excuse me, ripping the lid off the can. It's like you inspired other people close to you to do the same. It's like letting go of the guilt and the shame from that. Like, we don't have to be ashamed by this. We don't have to feel guilty about this anymore, because we are coming into a place where we now understand ourselves better. So, Source, how does pile number 3 inspire people? Thank you. Thank you. How does pile number 3 inspire people, Source? Okay, wow. I will take it. Yeah, where they see the end of the world, or that they were convinced by people that what had happened or what they had been through was the end of the world. I'm going to share a story with you. We have the 10 of coins on the bottom of the deck. I had a situation in my own life where I got involved with somebody who was already with somebody, and that's not something that I ever thought that I would do. But then I realized after I had healed myself that I was trying to fulfill something within me that I felt was missing, and I felt the only way to do that was to get involved with this person. And it took a long time for me to forgive myself, right? It took a long time for me to forgive myself. But it was something that I went through. It was something I was super embarrassed about. It's something I was super I beat myself up so much because of that. And I just really derailed myself from being true to who I was. And, I've realized that through that, it was like when I finally was brave enough to talk about it, I realized that I wasn't the only person in the world that did that. But I also realized there are a lot of very judgmental people out there. And it's oftentimes that I found that the ones who are judging us the hardest are the ones that have done the exact same thing. And they don't want to talk about it because of the embarrassment, right? And so it's like not something that I talk about often. It's just something that's real. It's something that has happened on my journey. It's an experience that I went through. It's also an experience that I have gratefully released and have learned so much about myself in regards to that. And so it's like I feel like you've had people who have judged greatly your journey or judged you because of something that's happened on your journey. And it's they're being conceited here is what they're showing. Like, you have had people who've been super conceited, like, oh yeah, well, I would have never done anything like that. It's so funny because it's oftentimes the ones who are accusing us of cheating, the ones who judge us the hardest, the ones who have something to say about everything. It's like always funny to me how 9 times out of 10 they're also perpetrators, right? Like, they have experienced the same thing, but because they don't want to be judged the way that they're judging you, they refuse to talk about it. And so it's like maybe along the way you were judged by people close to you because of this situation, but you also found that there were situations where people were also experiencing this very similar tragedy, this very similar hardship in their lives, and that through talking about it, through bringing it up, allowed them to actually face what they had so long they didn't want to face. You know, anytime you see the House of God here in the reverse, it's like refusal to face reality. And it's interesting because they didn't know these were here. And then we were talking about that, how oftentimes the ones who judge us are the ones who perpetrate, and they're the ones that are, like, it's the ones who judge us the hardest are the ones that have done it as well. Okay, like, that's a truth. It's like, there's a line in this song, like, even when I tell the truth even when I lie. Like, you know, like, it's a line, it's a Blake Shelton and a Pitbull song, and I cannot remember the name of it right now, but it's a really good song. Anyways, the last line is, I tell the truth even when I lie. And it's so true. Like, that's such a very deep truth, like so many people. And it's so funny that you have these two coming out together, the Page of Swords in the reverse and the House of God with the 10 of coins all in the reverse. Because it's like they're judging you. And this is not about judgment. Okay, I'm just saying, like, this is why you inspire people. This is something that's gone through. It's something that's transpired. Where people have been judging you, they also consider it unfair because they're not willing to face their reality. Both of these cards have a very serious meaning to them of not wanting to face reality. You pair that with the King of Swords and the World, both in the reverse. We're talking about being conceited. I'm the one who's never done anything. I'm the greatest in the world. I'm the only one who can never make a mistake. I have all the best sayings. I'm the one that the only person that people will ever listen to. Right? That's this energy here. While you have them feeling like it's unfair that you were willing to share this part about yourself because there's a deep unwillingness to share. But through your ability to share this, you've equally so have not only let go of the past, let go of what has left you catatonic, what has left you stagnant and stuck. You have inspired others to do the same. And there are always going to be those people who judge you so harshly because they themselves are too scared and stuck in the guilt and the pain of that shame to actually be honest about it. You know, there's the ones who don't want to be honest with themselves. They just don't want to. But it's like something happened along the journey where it's like the rug image again. It's like you were so tired of sweeping it under the rug. Maybe the mound under the rug got so big you couldn't even walk around it anymore, and you're like, no, this has got to go. And the only way this has got to go is if I throw that damn rug out. And you did that. You threw the rug out and you swept out all that dirt, that muck, that gut. You mopped, you scrubbed it away, you cleaned it away, but it only came through being completely honest about your situation with yourself and then having the courage to share that with others. I swear, this card has been making an appearance today. You had a choice. You had a choice. Look at this. I don't want to face reality. There's a lot of bad fortune that's happened to me. Right? And it's like, it seems like this is really negative energy, but it's not, because it's like you've been surrounded by negative energy, and it's only through you being honest with yourself and honest about the situation. You had a choice. You could have chosen to let this energy and this upset energy completely deter you from your journey. You could have allowed that energy to swallow you whole, and maybe it did for some time, but when you found the courage to share it, something changed. You chose a different path, and you realized that either path, even if you had let this eat you alive, one day down the road you would have chosen to still do the same thing, and that's to open up and share about it. No matter how much the shame was eating you alive. It was just like, I'd rather be free from the shame than to let the shame completely consume my life. And, you know, when I say shame, there's nothing for you to be ashamed of, okay? Like, I just want to reiterate that. No, I'm not sitting here encouraging you to go and do horrible things or to do these things that we've talked about. No, that's not it. It's what I'm saying is that when we live in a place of shame, we're blaming ourselves, and blame is one of the heaviest energies that we can hold that will continue to repeat those things in our lives, right? Like, it'll continue to bring that back to our lives, or situations that actually trigger that part of ourselves. And so oftentimes you were bringing in very judgmental people, or maybe you were bringing in people who were on the receiving end of that. Like, and again, that's just the example they're showing here. It's a very heavy example. It's a very heavy situation. It's not something to be taken lightly, but we also see that with the South Node, this is something that a lot of people are comfortable with. They're uncomfortably comfortable living in this darkness. And that's something that you chose to look at and say, whoa. So this is like you've learned how to navigate the shadow realm while also equally so embracing that part of yourself. And that's what's inspired people, because so many people around you didn't, right? They think it's unfair. How is it unfair? Well, it's unfair because they feel like you're the only person that's gone through this that's been given a choice. Everybody's had the very same choice that you've had, but so many people would rather lie in judgment and lie in this place of being a snake and snapping out when they can to make others feel bad, because misery loves company, rather than making a choice to say, I'm going to let this go by talking about it. You know, and a lot of people aren't willing to do that, but we see that you were here, something you were willing to communicate. It was something that was very heavy on your spirit, and it was something that resided in your South Node. You could absolutely have Pisces in your South Node, which would put Virgo North Node. You could have a Gemini South Node and a Sag North Node, or vice versa. Okay, so there's just this energy here where you see there's a lot of shame and guilt, a lot of heaviness coming through. You've overcome that, and you inspire people by helping them to release that shame and guilt. And that's such a powerful place to be at. No matter how you do it, that's really the reality of the reading, is that's how you inspire people, is by helping them to release the shame and guilt. These are just the examples that they're giving me here. It's like very heavy examples, because some people just don't want to talk about the reality of the situation, is that these things really do happen. And they happen to everyday people, and there's no reason for us to sit and point the finger at them like there's some awful person. Like, well, you should have known better. Well, if they had have known better, they would have made a different choice. But they did the best that they knew how with what they had, and you help people see that. You help people who are judgmental see that, but you equally so help people who've judged themselves so harshly understand and see that. And so that's the thing. It's like you inspire so many people, while equally so you very much trigger people. And you might benefit from seeing how you trigger how do you trigger people, which is the last reading I did. But this is very deep, because you help people see that there's no reason to hold on to what other people are telling them, what other people are saying about their character. You know what? Just because you made a mistake in life, that doesn't make you a bad person. Every human on the face of the planet has done something that they're guilty. They feel like it's a huge mistake, or they feel like they will never be able to release. But the truth is that when we hold on to those, it keeps us from growing spiritually. We have fixed energy here with Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius with stability, persistence, loyalty, and dependability. You put your hand up and said, stop. Enough is enough. I don't want to judge myself anymore. I want to be a stable presence in my own life. And through persistently healing, you've become a loyal and dependable source of energy in your community for people around you. So it's like maybe you're in a group. Like, I keep getting that sense like you have either a community around you, or there's a group that you attend that you help inspire them, and they inspire you likewise. We have mouse spirit, tend to the small things that flew out. See, and this is also pointing out this might not be as deep as that. It could just be something really small. Maybe it was just smoking, right? Maybe it's just smoking, but still, it doesn't matter how small or how large it is, okay? And it doesn't make one worse than the other. It just makes them, you had very similar energies to someone else who experienced a different situation, but equally so, tending these small things and saying, you know what, when we let people judge us and declare who we're supposed to be, we're doing ourselves a disservice by not allowing ourselves to let go of what's not ours to hold on to. And that's how you inspire people, because you're so generous. You're generous with sharing your story. You're not letting your past hold you back. You're not letting your past be a source of shame and guilt for you. 24/24 on the clock. You realize that if you love yourself enough to be honest with yourself, then you love yourself enough to be vulnerable with others. And that's where true bravery and strength comes from, is being vulnerable with others, because you've already been vulnerable with yourself. And this is bringing a sense of happiness to you, of happiness and contentment, like recognizing that you're not a product of what you went through. You let it go. You're coming into a place of balance. You're coming into a place of truth and honesty with yourself, and truth and honesty with the journey as it is. And honesty with others is allowing people to be honest with you. You may have come from one of the other piles for sure, okay? I'm not going to say which one because I don't want anybody to feel obligated to have to watch more than one pile, okay? If you were drawn to this pile, then it's definitely the message for you. If this is not resonating with you, but you were drawn to another pile, then that might have better messages for you, you know, and that's the truth. I see you found stillness in the calamity. This has helped you turn inward and find a deep inner truth. Let's actually take a look at the shadow aspect. You know, I've been drawing different cards on all three piles. Yeah, conquest, like just another notch in the headboard, or the real deal. Actions speak the loudest. You know, and yes, you've had difficult actions, you've had difficult choices you had to make, and maybe you didn't make the best one for you, but you made the decision that best suited you at that time, right? And so you're recognizing that maybe my actions didn't clarify who I am on the inside, but it doesn't mean that I cannot fix that. It does not mean that I cannot atone for that with myself. Let's get one more. What are the shadow aspects on this reading, source? What else would you like to say here? What's the shadow aspect for this reading? Okay. On the bottom, empty. The truth is that you simply don't feel fulfilled. It's worth the wait to find true happiness. And that's what you're doing right now. You're finding happiness. You're recognizing that you bring it into your life. And that's how you inspire others. Look, opposition, imbalance, a point of tension, and a power struggle. There's been a lot of judgment here that you've overcome. You've been judged by a lot of people, unfairly judged, right? Like, and when I say unfairly judged, it's like people who are being bigots, like people who judge you for the same things that they're doing themselves. And that's often how judgment is. People who judge us are often people who do the very same things that they're judging us for. You know, it's funny how that works, but it's the truth. We have the sun, express, right? Self-express and embody truth. This is it. You've learned how to communicate that and express that to the world, and realize that if I embody the truth and know that I'm worthy of good things, regardless of what happened before, then you inspire others to know that no matter what choices they've made in their past, their present does not have to be an embodiment of that. How powerful is that? Yes, it's such prosperity that you bring, right? It's a prosperous energy that you bring. It's like helping people connect with this innate knowing that even though you've had difficulties in your past, maybe you didn't make the best decisions, right? We use that loosely. It's like you have the ability to change this here, now, here moment by choosing to be brave enough to be honest with yourself and let go of that energy. Power, lightning. So there's a lot of people here who feel empowered by you, and there's a lot of people here who are mad that you've chosen to empower yourself. But it's this power that helps others see that sometimes the storms come, but if the storm is going to come, that it equally so is going to go. And lightning is it's the concept of duality, right? Without one, the other does not exist. So without darkness, light ceases to exist. Without light, darkness ceases to exist. And so we see here where you have embodied this idea of duality, knowing that without my darkness, I am not allowed to be the embodiment of light. And without my light, I was not allowed to be the embodiment of darkness. So I exist because both of these things are true, right? And you've learned how to communicate this between you and your spirit guides, between you and source. Like, you've had guidance to help you overcome the fear of talking about these realities in your life. And you've let that fear go, knowing that you're meant to help others. Like, you're meant to help someone on this journey. So let's see what the shadow aspect is, this other one that came through. Adrift, not willing to settle down or be responsible, time to commit and put down roots. So this is something that left you just kind of like floating around, wondering what your purpose was. And when you began to embrace this, you found such a sense of fulfillment, right? You let go of that glass is half empty and became the glass is half full, and now it's overflowing because you see how this is inspiring others. You see how this has impacted, even if it's just one person that you've impacted, you're seeing how your story has helped others embrace their own stories of very similar journeys. So let's take a look at your Dragon Oracle and see what this is. Balance! Yes! The duality. You have the yin and yang energy here, which is the perfect embodiment of duality. Balance. Without balance, what is there, right? Look, and I love this. I had no idea what this is, but look, we have with darkness, there is the light. With light, there becomes the darkness. And you see that in the yin and the yang energy. And we saw that here with the lightning card coming through. This balance of duality. All right, let's read this from the book, Balance. Oh, I love this card. This one's such a beautiful card. This is actually the card that first came to me when I got this deck. This one and a Luminaire. Balance depicts the aspects of us as a whole, our light and shadow sides. We as humans have many different faces we show the world and can vary from situation to situation daily. We have our family side, our work side, our colleague sides, and the face we have with our friends and even our cross side. We are made up of the light and dark, as well as all the grays in between. Balance asks us to accept and embrace all these sides of us, even the ones we don't like to admit to, for this is how we grow, heal, and mature spiritually. His presence in your spread is reminding you that everything is perfect, even if the situation you find yourself in is pushing your buttons. He says fear and frustration only serve one purpose, and that is to disempower. Stay focused on the positive outcome. You can call upon my energy and wisdom to guide you to be more balanced in how you view or feel about your situation. You cannot have the darkness without the light. The sun with no moon. It says that, look, right here. You cannot have the darkness without light. Okay, this is incredible. He continues, remember, most things in life are transitional and don't last forever. This, like much of life, is a phase, a lesson, and it too will soon pass. And then I say that with the lightning card is the storm. It'll soon pass. If you find yourself in a perplexing situation, ask for his wisdom to be bestowed within you, and you can request his assistance where balance needs to be restored in any situation, whether personal or global. No situation is too small or too great for the dragons. Exactly. So it doesn't matter. You didn't have to have a situation that was this profound. It could have been something on the smaller side, but that does not matter. Equally so, they're saying it's like finding the balance here is what inspires others. Like you found a way to accept the good aspects of yourself as well as the dark aspects of yourself. And that gives hope to everyone else out there who's human, who experiences the shaming of the darkness within us because, oh, I'm not supposed to be like that. I'm supposed to be a constant embodiment of light, when the truth is that we're actually this. We are the yin and the yang. That's our embodiment. That's what we embody. And so you're helping people to let go of those judgments. And even though you may be judged harshly by some, the ones that you're helping, it's actually helping to change the balance in the world for the good, recognizing that everybody has these light and dark aspects, and we need not judge. We need simply to accept. So this is very, 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 very powerful for you. This is an incredible message. If you feel like this is your message, leave a peacock emoji down below and say, I embody balance by accepting both my light and my dark side, knowing that that helps to inspire the world for good. Leave me a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my guides for coming together to give us this message. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.